Hi.
Perfect. It's Friday. And Kristen Cavallari's back in the headlines again. Here's what she said. She goes, if I was to have a conversation to myself or whatever, because, these headlines are crazy, but she came out and said that let's get men man enough to unfollow all the girls on Instagram. Hold on. Let me get the exact quote.
While you're looking it up, what does that mean?
That if he truly loves you,
yes,
then he
should unfollow other hot girls?
Yep. And I was like, we are one step away from a controlling, abusive relationship, in my opinion.
I feel like you know how I feel. I feel like I would follow hot guys to follow hot guys. And you don't need to worry that I'm going to slip into, I might slip into their DMs, but it's a business profile. So it'll be for fun. But like, it's not
so
that
she sparks debate.
Okay.
After saying women's boyfriends should be man enough to unfollow other girls on Instagram.
Like other girls that he was talking to, or like other hot girls?
It's respect for the partners. You want a guy who's going to unfollow the girls when you get into a relationship. I think that's important because it's a respect thing. She went on to explain that men's defense to this is often to say that they're just mindlessly scrolling and don't really pay attention to the girls in bikinis they see on social media. And she acknowledged that there was some truth, but reiterated it's a respect thing.
Okay, first like to start off by, if you're listening to this, just know that you can go over to YouTube and watch this, because I was just noticing that your box chain is so nice. Is that new?
Which one?
It's the gold necklace, and it's kind of like a box.
This?
No.
This.
I don't think there's anything on it.
There's nothing new.
This.
I've had it. I wore it all in Dominic, everything.
Yeah, but that's so pretty.
Thanks.
I mean, there's a lot of them, so I didn't see that box. I like that clasp. Where's it from?
I'll find it for you. Maybe Amazon.
Okay. So, here's the thing. And I feel like I'm always just going to stand in this place because it's just really, when you're just so sure of like how you feel that you don't really have to think.
Yeah.
That's, by the way, in our business, a lot of how Cat and I made decisions along the way is just, we just felt it. So sometimes I'm not sure about everything, but some things I'm sure of is that I think that if let's say my boyfriend, my husband, whatever, is following hot girls like Camille Caustic, Gronk's wife.
Yeah.
Like he follows her.
They're not boyfriend, girlfriend.
What?
I mean, they're not married, are they?
No.
Oh, but you're just Gronk's wife, not real wife.
No, right. Girlfriend.
Okay, girlfriend.
Unlike, he thinks she's really pretty. Like really pretty.
Your husband.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think so does my son think she's really pretty.
Okay.
I think she's really pretty too. I love her way. If he likes to see pictures of her because he thinks she's pretty, it's kind of like if I want to look at her like a good looking guy on Instagram, but I also really want to look at a really good salad in a beautiful kitchen. Things my eyes like is what I would feel like I turn to my Instagram for, and then it's not I would say, like, are you worried that if he follows it too much that he might not be able to control himself and have to slip into the DMs? Like, other than just looking at things that he likes to look at, what does that have to do with Kristen? Let's use Kristen and her boyfriend. We'll call him Montana Boy. Like, what does that have to do with Kristen that he's looking at things that he thinks looks nice?
I guess because they met online and they slipped into each other's DMs, and that's So she's probably like, wow, this is how it happened for us. I think two things. If we have that precedent, for some people, it's maybe a healthy boundary, and maybe that's a conversation. Like, it makes me feel insecure or uncomfortable that you follow these people. I'm not going to judge people's insecurities, but really, it sounds very controlling to me when you're like, out of respect for me, you should go and unfollow that. Because if a male said that to a female counterpart and was like, you need to go and follow that, it's disrespectful. I think that probably happens a lot. And I think that it is it's like control. And I hate the ownership over people in relationships. And I think that it's so dangerous and a slippery slope when people see that like this is normal. Because I ended up on the wrong side of TikTok one day, and a lot of them were talking about the relationships they were in that were domestically unsafe. And it starts very small with things like that. Like, who are you following? And then checking and being like, what? And then let me see your messages. And then send me a screenshot of where you really are. Send me a picture of who you're with.
You know what's so crazy? Because it's all like the controlling and it's all the stuff. But like, because we were just watching cult stuff, it's kind of like that same thing. It's like the takeover of somebody. Like, it's like their thoughts and wishes and desires no longer matter as much as following the rules to the person who's in the authoritative position.
Now, listen, if you are maybe going through therapy because of cheating that happened, that might be a rule, that might be a negotiation of terms that you are like, this is my boundary. I'm choosing, this would make me feel comfortable after you broke my trust.
Yes.
Very different than you need to unfollow these people out of a sign of respect, because power dynamics come into play, women versus men, where if a man is like, you can't do that, or I'm leaving you, I just think we have to be really careful in healthy relationships about what we're claiming the person can and cannot do. And if you have a problem with them following somebody, that's a you thing.
I know. And you know what else I was thinking? I was thinking like immediately, like her saying that and knowing that she's been single in these years of social media, that maybe it comes from like we don't understand the social dynamics and dating of online because we've never lived it.
No.
But for her, maybe because she slipped into his DMs, there is that feeling, and maybe it happens a lot more. Like maybe that's more common for like the younger people that are dating now, to feel insecure because there's this other world other
it's like
than
going
their
to
phones.
a singles bar. It's like online's like a singles bar now. Basically, you're not physically going, but you can just show up and meet any single you want. But whether he's following people or not following people, you can go onto any website and find that just as you want.
And I was when we're just sitting here thinking about people who tell you things that you can and cannot do, you might be sitting there and thinking about your relationship, and you're like, I know that my husband, I can't do that because of my husband. I can't do that because of my husband.
Totally.
And I was thinking there might be little nuances, but in our relationships, there's nothing that our husbands are like, you can't do that.
Nope.
And we are very much like that with our husbands too.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we did an ad read, actually. They're going to get a free one right now for eHarmony. And the whole theme of that was their like campaign is find somebody who lets you be you. So instead of like finding your perfect person or finding the love of your life or finding someone who has the same hobbies as you, their thing right now is finding someone who lets you be absolutely you. When you find that person, it is so. And so during the ad read, we use our own personal examples of how we married guys who never told us what to do. And even when we changed the game and we did things that a lot of people are kind of like, you've got strippers on your tour bus. You talk about all your personal stuff online, all of this. Our husbands they've actually, and I'm pretty sure it's the same for you, like our husbands have never said, could you not talk about that? Could you not do that?
Yeah, no, they haven't.
But
no,
I think in a lot of relationships, there would be husbands be like, can you not talk about that?
And I think in fairness, that's different if it's about them. Like if it's you're talking about me, can you not talk about me like that? Like then rules of what you can and can't do within a relationship. Like we're very lucky that we have husbands that are so like, know who we are. But thankfully,
I was gonna say, I don't think it's a coincidence. It's we needed to be with people who weren't gonna like judge us.
I don't even think, and again, judgment and control. I get, that's what we don't talk about in schools is what does a healthy relationship look like with you and with the people that you're getting in a relationship with. And some people are so desperate just for a relationship, right? They're so desperate that they will see what they want to see and they'll ignore what they don't want to see. And then that's where you have to be really careful. And that's why it takes so much work to know who you are. Because then like, no, I don't care how great you look. I don't care how desperate I want a relationship. Like if you are not my standard, I'm gonna let you go.
And I'm also better off. Like I'm better off without you.
I know.
I was I was doing a project with my daughter all night long, and so of course we put on crime, and it was so crazy because this man was having an affair and he was going online dating, and he ended up with these women, but they were they were older. They're past the age of like getting married and have kids. Like it was past that. But this woman, I was saying to my daughter, he did so many things that she had that natural instinct immediately by his behavior. It didn't feel right. But she was probably like, it's hard to find a good guy.
He's so amazing in so many ways.
Yeah, he's so many ways. I'm just going to push through. And I literally had to press pause on that podcast. I was like, Taylor, do you see that? That is a feeling. She knew within the first few seconds when he saw her, he hugged her too long. And she was like, that didn't feel normal. The date ends up going on and he rapes her.
Wow.
By the way, she sees him again after. So, yes. So it's so true. It's just, and you know what? If she was just okay with being by herself, she could have walked out right away and said, I don't need this. You're an addition to my life. Like,
you're lucky to be here.
We're not two halves making a whole. We're
I'm
one and one making two.
Not my own whole, and you're choosing to come into a little bit of my circle. And not my whole circle, a little bit of my circle.
And I'm whole on my own. So I absolutely don't need to add a +1. But if that +1 makes my life better, then that could be fun.
Let's take a quick break.
Oh.
I think that people change, right? Like you get into a relationship, you are so like infatuated. It's so amazing. They've been in a relationship for a while, right? The two of them, Chris, like now they've been in a while. And then what starts happening, creeping in is like, oh, insecurities. I'm not calling anyone insecure. All I'm saying is your own issues begin to become insecure. And then you can rationalize why you think that that is right or wrong rather than understanding autonomy. And you have your own autonomy, and then together you have a relationship. And I think every rule when you're like, if you don't do this, it means that you don't feel this, is just so dangerous. It is so dangerous on so many levels. Because if someone said to my daughter, you need to go and follow every guy that you're following right now.
We would have a huge problem with that, Catherine.
And I would have a problem if a girlfriend said it to my son.
Oh my
gosh, I would have a massive, massive problem.
I would immediately think to myself,
you're controlling.
Red flag.
Yeah. And why aren't you okay with because really, you know, a lot of things come down to like tracking too, right? Like do you share your location with your spouse? Do you have whatever? Do you let them see your messages? Do you let them pick up their phone? Do you let them Number one, I have never picked up my husband's phone and been like, what's in there? I have no interest in seeing what's in his phone or what he's saying to his friends. I have literally no interest because your choice to be here right now is your choice. You have a choice to be here. If you don't want this choice, cool. Like, don't pretend you want to be here. And then I wouldn't even be worried about an outside relationship. I'd be more worried if someone was like trashed, like him being like, I hate my life. I hate this situation. I hate coming home every day.
Oh yeah.
I hate that would be the most hurtful to me outside of,
you know what I would feel like if I found that. I mean, who knows? Because you don't know what it's going to feel like till it happens to you. But I would be like, I'm so sorry that you're living this way. You don't have to live this way.
Do you hate your life?
If you hate your life, you need to go get a better life.
I recommend you leaving. And I think that that's really scary for people though, because we want to need them, because if you need them, then they have a lesser chance of leaving. But if you choose them, marriage is just really, a harder way to get breaking up. So people feel safer in marriages because it's too much of a pain in the ass to get divorced, which is really why we get married, because it makes it harder to leave. So you have to stay together. I know that's really terrible to say, but if you think about it, you have less.
Why did you get married?
I don't know.
I know. I
mean, I really, it's what I wanted. I thought I do.
I know what you mean, though. I can honestly say when I think about why I got married, I can honestly say it's just what you did.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like when he proposed, I still can't believe a man proposes to a woman. When he proposed, he was showing his commitment that he really wanted to be with me forever, which I obviously did too. But it was just a thing that you did. I don't think I was like,
a semen in your fahuna is way more commitment than ever a marriage. And to me, a baby is way more sentimental and magical and a miracle than
bonding and committing
than an institution. Like to me, marriage was just something that we did. Like I think every day I don't need to be married to you because I choose you. And I don't need to. They got so offended the first time we told them that, but I'm like, it is so much more of a compliment when you choose someone versus also, when you have to be with them.
Stop and think about it. I hope you feel the same.
I know. Do you think you have to be here? Because you don't.
Yeah. But when you were just saying, I don't need you, but I choose you. And that's something that we want our children to feel. But, it makes me think of when that quarterback made that valedictorian speech at that college, and he was saying about women's, like, really what they look forward to, most of the women in the room, is just becoming a mother and a wife and like a homemaker and all that stuff. That is so scary, really, to be a woman that completely relies on a man for all, like, her financials, right? So from this perspective,
but they're religious, so you are never divorcing.
But
but I know.
And lots of religious people do get divorced.
Oh, they do.
Oh God, yes.
Yes,
right?
they do. But if you're that, you would stick through it. It's the word of God. You would stick through it. No, because
I know in the beginning, but a lot of very religious people end up getting divorced. That's just the reality. And what's the scariest thing for, let's just say, our daughters, because things are
think
still.
Think about that Duggar who's still with his wife and he's in jail for child porn.
But
and
relying, he's not like in that. I didn't think about it till now, we were saying that you don't need them. That's putting a lot of women in a very vulnerable position, because let's just say he wants to leave or she wants to leave or something bad happens, there's abuse. Let's just go like really far. Like, say they never want to have a divorce. They're super religious. They're but divorce has to happen. That woman is now in a very dangerous position. And he would never want his daughter to be in that position. Well, I guess he's got so much money, he could help take care of his daughter. So he's not also thinking about it from everyone's lens. But like, if our daughters, because that's what happened in my family. You know what I mean? Like, she was just left with just like that, nothing. Now you got to pick it up and go. There was nothing. There's no backing. Like, we would never want that for our daughters.
No, and it's control, and it's like what your autonomy is and what you want for your own life. And I think what we all struggle with at our age in marriages is the role that you signed up for when you were younger was never thought about, was never challenged, it was just, it was very much still old fashioned with modern, like with, how do I put this? With, updated lenses. Like, it wasn't like you're going to sit in the kitchen. I think part of our demographic and age, in the 40 age, we grew up watching some of it, but our moms did work, but still the TV we watched and the things we saw was still very much like traditional. Let's call it very traditional. And I think that as we get older, we have the ability to question. And I think that's very confusing, because I don't think men have to question. They don't have to. They're supposed to provide, but then their insecurities come from providing. Their age, like our husband's age, it's about providing. And if I'm providing for you, then I'm good. I don't have to do much else. I have to provide for you. Where the younger generation is like, I have to show up emotionally. I have to show up physically. I have to show up like and challenge the way the views, and you're different and I'm different. We often placate the way we help our husbands in a big way bridge the two roles, because our daughters are a different generation and our sons are a different generation, which we can see. But it's confusing to watch for people who didn't live it. And I think a lot of men 40 and over didn't have to actually, they got to just kind of step into a role.
Yeah.
And then we are like, wait a minute. Yeah. We want it different. And we had men who accepted it. Think about it. Think about strip shows that are out now. Like, how many of the Thunder Down Unders, like all of these things that women are now like, hey, if you get this, I want this too. Am
I hearing a little bit that like we're saying that, and we're feminists, that like the men in our lives are having to deal with a lot of change and a lot of things. They thought they could just be the role.
I don't think they would ever thought that this is what the conversations would be.
No.
I don't think
they're like, I'll be the husband.
Yep. I'll go to work.
You'll be the kids. The kids will do sports. They'll go to school, and we'll just carry on like it goes. And now they're just being thrown many balls.
Because most marriages that you see of older people, it is just, we are married. We have family dinners. There's nothing about the relationship. It is very much about the minutia of this is what I do. This is what you do. This is what we do as a family. And then you grow up and then we all get back together again. And now we're demanding more out of the relationships rather than it was just visual before. No one talked about their emotions or like, I feel this. There's
like our sons are going to be very different men.
Hopefully. I mean, not that ours are bad, just but hopefully the generation. Yeah, hopefully. Yes. But we talked to Mark from True Local, like when he sold True Local, and he's 20 something, or he's now 30, but 10 years younger than us, and he had a very different perspective even 10 years, and now we're going back another 10 years. So hopefully,
well, I think at the very least, the conversation of mental health and struggling. You know, we had a conversation with a young man yesterday, and just saying how, you know, mental health was not something the boomer generation even considered talking about or thinking about. And it is a lot right now. And sometimes it seems like it's a bit like, is it too much? Like but leaning into that is far better than ignoring it.
I think the difference is there's a key difference here between mental health and the other shit. There's mental health where you actually are struggling with a mental health issue, depression, anxiety, right? Like then there's feelings of anxiety, there's feelings of sadness, then there's feelings, which everybody has feelings.
And it's okay. Sometimes your feelings can just simply be feelings.
And then there's the portion of people who want to blame other people for their feelings rather than owning their feelings. Because if they own it's about knowing who you are rather than wanting to blame everyone for your mental health. So there's like kind of three components that have to all come together. But in marriages and relationships, I think women probably struggle at our age now because we do want more. And it's confusing for the men in our lives to know what that more means when they've never been taught it. They've never been taught to be vulnerable in a relationship. And they just want us to do more, what feels like more, to placate them because they don't want to do the work for themselves to be like, oh,
and they're not intentionally thinking that.
No, they can't.
No,
but to reflect on what you feel. So often women just fix things for men. We're just like, we plan things, we do things, we fix, like that's what we've always done. And I think that when you get sick of doing it, you get fed up rather than talking to them about what you've been doing. They have to be open and receptive to hearing, you know, I've done so much and I'm ready for you to start doing something. I'm ready for you to start looking at why you feel this way. Like it's not just me. What makes you feel this way about what I do? Because I can own it, but I can't always be perfect. There's always going to be something that bothers you about what I do. What is that for you? What is that?
And I'm willing to hear it, and I'm willing to respect it, and I'm willing to consider it. But at the end of the day, I can't change who I am. So let's figure out how.
I can change behaviors, but I'm not going to fundamentally. If I always go out and talk to people, like I'm always in the elevator. I'll talk to everybody and anybody. That's why my husband hates walking the dog with me. He hates it. That's his pet peeve. Fair.
By the way, my husband on a dog walk. You know, when I walk the dog, I walk.
So him
and
I are the same. Him and I will go talk to everyone.
It's a very cute culture, by the way. I just want you to know. I think it's very cute
for all of you.
We all
know each other. We know the new dogs. We know the new puppies. Like we know.
You talk about the neighborhood, what's going on,
everything.
It's great,
everything. But I'm not. If that bothers him, then don't come for a walk with me. But don't make me be some. Don't get mad at me for who I am. Like that doesn't hurt you. It doesn't do anything. And I think. Like back to the Kristen Cavallari thing, it's her insecurity that she puts on him rather than being like, why does that bother me? Like, why does that bother me that you follow these people? Because we can put anything under a lens of mental health, under respect, under boundaries, under anything. But if you go to them and say, you know, she kind of hijacked him in the media, especially by saying, but actually a whole bunch of people, because now a whole bunch of girls are going to be like, it's disrespectful. We're putting insecurities that don't need to exist.
I know. Now girls are going to be like, well, if Kristen's doing that, and Kristen now has the influence of, you know, women our age and mothers, but now she has the influence over all these younger girls that are his age, 23, are looking at her and being like, so he wants to be with someone like her. What's she like? Maybe we should be like her. And then we could get a guy like him.
And let me tell you something. You either trust your person.
Yeah.
Or you don't trust your person. And there's nothing. He could unfollow everyone. But if there's still something in your mind, it will always be in your. He'll find a different way. He'll get a burner phone. Like there's no.
Oh yeah, he will find a way.
He's either going to or not to. So do you want to live in? Like,
there's pretty amazing things that they can do to get away with having affairs and doing things. And following someone on Instagram is the most public thing you could do. There's so many more things that they can do.
And if they're talking. Well, then obviously he's not right for you. Like if he's
not getting everything he needs from you. He's not ready to be with just one, or he's never going to be with just one.
It's not about her. It's just he's 24 and likes, or he's 35 and likes to talk to lots of girls, and that's not okay with you.
And that's not okay with you. Yeah.
So I think it's just about I don't know. I think if you are, and I know a lot of relationships at this time, a lot of people our age, I know, are going through transition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's totally good that we change. You should change. Mm-hmm. Everyone should change. And I think that
the change doesn't have to be huge.
No, but make sure
it's kind of like evolving instead of changing.
Yeah, and some people will definitely change, and that's okay. They will change. You'll become a different version of yourself, and that's okay. But when you do, don't get mad at the people around you. I think it really does take a mature person to be like, question themselves first and not get mad at the other people. I think we're too quick to get mad for our own. We want to get comfortable, and the people around us, we want them to be like, fix what we think is wrong with them. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like we're so quick to make everything everybody else's issue so they can fix it for us to be more comfortable.
It's so much easier to put it on someone else.
It's so dumb.
I know. But that's in the long run. When you look to someone else to fix your problems or to blame for the way that's going on, you're not gonna. It's not gonna end up. That's not gonna conclude very well.
Because someone else is gonna piss you off. Mm-hmm. If you can't figure out your own triggers, you're gonna just get pissed off by everybody. Even when we talk about like body weight triggers, I'm like, in relationships, someone's gonna trigger you. My husband and I have a thing with the dishwasher. Every day, he's like, I need to do a lesson of how to do the dishwasher. Okay, it's like a thing for us. Okay.
Yesterday, I opened the dishwasher to put the dish in the dish, and Teddy goes, "Look, Dad, look how she did it." And I go, "I'm sorry. It was actually in a spot." But he's like, "You have to start from the back."
I know.
And no, you don't. And also, I see the commercials. They don't have to be perfectly rinsed before they go in.
Well, it's hilarious because sometimes there's issues that have deeper issues. Like the issues aren't actually the issues. The dishwasher is really just the issue. Like the dishwasher, I like, if you are having dishwasher conflict at home, leave a comment.
Normal.
I don't know one couple that doesn't have a dishwasher ailment between their relationship. It's a conflict. Dishwasher conflict.
I remember growing up at a friend's house, and I would always have dinner at her house. And they would always be like, just leave the dishes on. If you even put it in, Dad will redo the whole thing. So don't even bother. And I'm like, but I feel you will not put them in properly. We'd never be able to put the dishes.
So how annoying for the dad to do all that extra work doing the dishwasher.
I feel like they love owning the design of the dishwasher.
It's like grass.
It's
like grass in the dishwasher. It's
and
like
the blower.
And like they love to like make it look. And I swear, he says he doesn't like cleaning the kitchen. Like he loves it. I feel like he takes so long. I can clean the kitchen. Maybe it's not like ding, like sparkling. There's like diamonds on the thing.
Yeah.
Because he has diamonds on it. Like it looks like someone just ran through here, like Mr. a cleaning crew. Yeah, he like gets shit out and does the thing. Me, I'm just like, it's clean. Yeah. Let's move on because someone's going to eat in 20 minutes. Don't get mad when someone comes and eats in 20 minutes because don't make it that clean.
I know. It's not a piece of art. It's going to be used again very, very soon.
Yeah, the domestics of dishwasher. But again.
You know what, the other one?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I thought about it yesterday and it's bothered me. And I'm trying to take care of it and figure it out. But my TV, it's like when the TV conks out, because there is one cord that's missing. Okay, there's just a thing. He's the only one who actually knows how to fix it. So last night I wanted to turn on the TV and go to cable because the kids always put it onto YouTube and yada. By the way, I feel like that's one of those archaic things, pumping gas, different controllers for things, and charging your phone. I'm putting those as like, we'll look back and be like, that was so archaic. He's the only one. And I swear he's never been like, here, do this. Like he never taught me how. He just does it for me. So I sit there and I don't know how to turn on fucking cable. I know nobody watches cable except for me, but like you know what? I'm going to take care of that.
This weekend.
Yes.
You're going to learn.
I'm going to learn. It's like the barbecue. Like I didn't know how to do. A lot of women don't know how to do the barbecue.
It's crazy.
Then you learn how to, a lot of people let the husband barbecue. When you learn how to turn on the fucking barbecue, which is so easy, by the way, barbecuing is so fun.
Yeah. better than cooking.
Like I like to barbecue.
Yeah, me too.
Like we're the barbecue. Like
I'm the barbecuer.
I'll only send him to barbecue if I'm having like people over and I have lots of other dishes to do. I go, you can barbecue, but I kind of wish I was the one barbecuing. You know, he doesn't like the way I barbecue. I'm a bad barbecuer.
You are?
I flip too soon.
You know I'm the best barbecuer.
I know you are.
I'm a very good barbecuer.
I know you
Fun
are.
fact, you're a good chef. I'm a good barbecuer.
Great. I would be happy to let you barbecue.
He doesn't even try to take the barbecue over.
I know. And he looks like a barbecue guy.
I don't even eat steak. Like I've never even eaten steak.
And you can cook it.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know. I am not good. Like, I always have to cut it open to like see and stuff.
No, I don't even know. I have a natural.
You do.
Yeah, we don't fight about that. Just the fucking dishwasher.
And one more note, because we're talking about relationships and we're talking about knowing yourself. And one thing that we're just talking, because I feel like this, aside from the dishwasher, which I actually think is kind of a compliment because it makes them look like they're doing something. We've been talking quite positively about our husbands during this podcast.
Oh, you're gonna throw them under the bus right now?
No, I'm going to say one more thing that I think, and I know that this could sound like to our group of friends that are very educated, open-minded, forward-thinking, like the women, like the people in our family, we're all very like your family and my family, and it's a product of probably like where we grew up, the schools we went to.
Knowing yourself.
Yeah, knowing yourself, but also like living in Toronto, I think like helps with the education and all the different kinds of diversity and people like that. Is that, correct me if I'm wrong, and I've been around your husband a lot. I know that everybody should be this way, but the reality is it's not, is that I don't sense from either of our husbands any major like racism, homophobia. I know that sounds, of course you shouldn't be racist, but people say shit. Racism, homophobia, prejudice, like discrimination. Like I feel that they're both, even though they're kind of raised in quite traditional homes, I've never heard them like slip in. Like a parent said to me recently, this is what made me think about it, because I would think that he would be just like me. He referred to an item of clothing on a guy as that's gay.
Did you correct him?
I said, you cannot say that.
Good job.
But he was laughing it off. And I don't think he thought anything wrong with it. And he grew up just where we grew up. And I hear people make those kind of comments sometimes. And I think like both of our husbands are not from our world at all.
I think we correct if they did make that comment. Like if anyone says the R word around me, I'm like, you can't say that word anymore.
Do you know that kids are using that more and more now?
Well, I have heard, and I have said to my kids, you need to stop and say, you can't say that word.
It is becoming like common. Like it's like
you hear it all the time.
I've heard it a bunch. And actually, someone in my house said something along those lines and then was very mad at the moment, but that person is acting that way like right now. And I was like, that is not, you have no idea what that is and what that means if you're going to say that, you know? And I feel like now when you're the maddest, you want to use the most hurtful words. Like,
yeah,
you want it. And those are so off limits now that it's like the meanest thing you can say.
It's actually,
because you're not allowed to say it. You can say fuck, you can say shit, you can say bitch, you can say all this, but there's two words that are absolute, like go to jail.
Yeah.
You're off the, I mean, you can hurt somebody really badly on the ice, but if you use
some of these
two words.
Well, there's actually, and also they're really big on misogyny too. Like if you say any words to girls, like if you use
derogatory, or,
like towards girls,
yes.
they kick you off.
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
but that it's fun because now I feel like we're going through a little bit of a moment where they didn't even know about the words, but then some crazy kid said it. Now they know it's the worst thing they can say, and now they're fucking using it. Anyways, so we're going through a little bit. Anyways, I know, but and yes, we would correct our husbands for sure, but I just feel that they have, even though they're not like us.
Well, and also I think even bigger is they're not pervy. Like they don't make girls feel uncomfortable. They've never they don't look at girls like that.
But that's
like,
a lot of good things.
Yeah, no, they're great. That is huge to me.
Because there are women that have to be tolerable to that.
Well, they don't. They should not be.
They shouldn't be, but they're married to men who just are going to continue to say and do those things.
There's a lot of men who walk into restaurants still and make girls and women feel uncomfortable just by way of being, and that is really something that men need to be more aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you my husband would be so aware if he is walking down a street behind a girl, he would cross the street. Like I've taught him that too. Like you cannot walk behind females alone if it's nighttime. Cross the fucking street. Be aware that every girl feels uncomfortable when there is a big man behind her and you're walking behind. We are looking behind us thinking what is going to happen. Girls, we are born naturally to begin. We have to think that way, which is shitty. But that's he could be like, whatever, but that's a good lens. He's not whistling at them.
I'm saying that those are other things that,
they're great. Our men are great.
Okay, so Mark Marc, this is a podcast that says nice
dedicated
things
to
about
you, but you suck at the dishwasher. Peace, y'all.
Bye, guys.